We're going to have a nice visit from Brian McEwen, our friend of the show. He's VP of Exploration and Development for Golden Arrow Resources. Now, Golden Arrow has a strong portfolio of prospective gold and copper assets in the southern part of South America. That's projects in Argentina, Chile, and Paraguay. So Brian's going to break that all down for us. Now, Brian is a professional geologist. He has more than 30 years of exploration and production experience in open pit and underground mining projects and operations. The extent of his experience is global, managing numerous projects across Canada, the US, Europe, Asia, Africa, throughout all of Latin America. His previous roles include more than a decade with MRDI, where he was responsible for project management, economic resource and reserve calculations for various precious metals and base metal companies, including BHP, CM Antamina, Teck, Hochschild, and Phelps Dodge. So all the big ones. Great track record there, Brian, and it's great to have you on the Global Mining Symposium. Let us know how you're doing today and where are you tuning in from?
Yeah, hi Tony. I'm in Vancouver. Not such a nice day here today, but always good to be back with the Northern Miner with these presentations, and we've got something to update people on. So ready to go.
Excellent. We love checking in with you. So thank you very much for being here. Please take it away, and you have our undivided attention.
Okay. I know I'm always the problem with these things. Okay.
You got it perfect, Brian. Good job.
Can I back up?
Yeah, if you use
okay, there we go. Okay, well,
go.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining in and hearing our story. As Tony mentioned, we've done several of these, and each time we have a little bit different story, and this one I think is the best yet. As all these stories I think just keep on improving as we go from the value from our success of the past and our growth, what we're looking forward to in the future. Just warn everybody that there will be some forward-looking statements, so the standard cautionary notes, so that everybody's been warned. For those that aren't aware, the Golden Arrow is a member of the Grosso group of companies, a group that's been working largely in Argentina since 1993 with a lot of successes, 4 significant discoveries. Our last one was the Chinchilla Silver Project, which is a project in northern Argentina that we discovered and tried or advanced with Silver Standard, and then sold it to them in 2019. Leadership of the company is led by Joe Grosso. We've also got a couple of other presentations from our sister companies in the presentations today and tomorrow you'll be hearing from, but it's a great group of people, lots of technical expertise, legal expertise, and done a lot of deals and a lot to be proud of. The company's focuses on a very strong project pipeline. We've got a diversified risk portfolio whereby we're looking at gold company as well as some base metals and other things that come along. We have some core projects, one that I'm going to speak specifically to today, that have different value stages from blue sky exploration to something a little bit more advanced. And then portfolio projects, we have 180,000 hectares of projects in Argentina that we've collected over the time we've been there, and some of those are recently we've joint ventured or we've optioned off. We put out a press release, last week, talking about the deal we'd made with the company for our Mogote project, which borders on Filo del Sol's or Filo's Filo del Sol project, and they put out a very impressive press release yesterday with some impressive numbers that can only mean good things for us as the project beside us gets drilled. But today I'd like to focus on our latest project. We're referring this to as our flagship project. This is a San Pietro copper gold project. It's about 18,000 hectares. It was brought to us last September, asked if we were interested in participating in a bid process. We said yes, that we would like to do our due diligence and go through with it. Long story short, we put in our proposal. And we managed to take the project. We see several advanced stage projects and other upside opportunities within the project area. And this is something we hope we can repeat with our similar to what we did with our Chinchillas and another success story. The reason we're in this position, I should have mentioned earlier, is that when we did the deal with Silver Standard, we monetized that for about $65 million in the end. So that went into our coffers. It allowed us to go shopping. We've looked at several early stage projects, and then we landed upon here. We put the bid in. We were able to pay cash for it, and now we're about to start work on it. When you're looking at mining projects, location. This does not get much better than where we are. About 100 kilometers north of Copiapó. Power lines runs right across the property. This is in the neighborhood of a lot of giants. You got the Candelaria mine, Manto Verde, Santo Domingo, El Salvador. All these big IOCG projects, largest in some of these in the world. It's got the infrastructure to support the mining industry. There's several ports, a desalination plant, concentrate pipeline, able workforce. Like I say, as far as a mining location, I don't think there's a better spot in the world. And taking a closer look at our project, our San Pietro project there is in yellow. We're bordered on the right, on the east side by Capstone Santo Domingo mine, or it's not a mine yet, but it's all permitted and it's ready to go. And it hosts from their 43-101 about 500 million tons of resource. On the west side of us is the Manto Verde project, which has been acquired or has merged with Capstone. So now that all of that property is owned by Capstone, Manto Verde hosts another 500 million tons of reserve. So we've got the project kind of the hole in the donut between a billion tons of Capstone's property. We've also got projects to the north and the south. So we believe that as far as coastology goes and opportunity, it doesn't get much better than this either. Taking a closer look at the project, you can see these are just 4 of the targets that we found during our due diligence, some of the previous work that have been done. The project was previously owned by Sumitomo. They had extensive database of drilling and rock samples, geophysics and geological mapping. They were concentrating all on the east side here, trying to develop a resource. They did come up with a resource number. We need to prove that before we can talk to it. But as we went through the due diligence, we saw a lot of other opportunities. Now, Sumitomo left this project in 2013. It had been sitting there for since 2013, with no work on it being done. They got kind of into a different business model, and the project became available, and we jumped on it. So I'm just going to briefly touch on a couple of these areas. As I mentioned, the area immediately to the west, the Rincones areas, that's a area where a previous resource was done. 47 holes in here. This is kind of typical of some of the holes in there. We have 28 meters of 1.14, some good cobalt numbers as well. And our plan will be to get in there and prove up that resource over the next little while. But as we went through the due diligence, we saw a lot of other areas that had been kind of not paid attention to. A lot of that just had to do with the economics of the time. So this is an area that's a little bit to the south. You can see where the little yellow circle is, and we believe this connects to the properties up there at the very north end. It's all along one big structure, and you can see why they wouldn't have paid attention to this if they were looking for a copper project. But look at the cobalt numbers, 600 and 300. I mean, these are higher than the values of the actual resource that they're going to mine at Santo Domingo. So we're very excited about the cobalt values and the value that adds to the property. Again, I get asked the question, how come this project didn't get developed by the previous owners? Well, at the time they were looking at it, copper prices were down, and actually all the metal prices were down. But I think the real big one here is cobalt. Cobalt right now is selling at about $46 a pound, which is 10 times that of copper. It's interesting when you look at what Capstone did with the Santo Domingo property. Initially, that was being developed as a copper gold. Didn't quite make the mustard on the feasibility study. They went back, they added a cobalt circuit to it. they've added a roaster. Now they're going to produce sulfuric acid, and from that urea and fertilizer, and it makes the project. And so that was never been considered in the numbers that were being evaluated on this project. So we think that by adding in the iron and the cobalt, as well as the copper and gold, it really adds to the overall value of the project. So as far as work goes for us right now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of targets that need to be followed up. All of the work had been done in one area. There was a lot of geophysics done on the property. These are largely magnetic because of a lot of the iron in the project, and some of the areas where they'd done the geophysics, they just hadn't drilled deep enough. So we've got a lot of geophysical targets, areas that hadn't been mapped on the property. And one of the things we found going through the drill core was there was a lot of inconsistencies. So we want to go in there and relog the core, start again from a clean database, look at the entire property. We've also picked up a lot of the other properties in and around the area. I should have touched on that. So we've got a big land package there now, and hope to be drilling in the near future as well. This is what the company looks like. 150 million shares outstanding, recent market cap about 21 million. It does fluctuate from time to time because we have still a very strong holding of SSR shares that have been going up and staying pretty high lately. So that's good for us as well. And we still have about $16 million in the bank. So looking at the company of whether or not you should be investing in Golden Arrow, or what junior company you should look at, we've got a strong proven management, done it all before, been there, done that. We got a strong treasury, lots of money to do what we say we're going to do. We're completely financed. Our drill program next year right now is estimated to be about 40,000 meters, about $7 million program that's already been approved by the board. And then project areas, we've got a big project now that we're going after. We're going to hit it hard. We've just hired people to start on the project next week. And then we still have another properties that we're looking at in Argentina. And just mention again, the portfolio of projects we have right now is really a second value stream. We've joint ventured 3 of those right now, and those are properties, good properties that other people are spending their money on, that we'll manage to get some of the upside as well. So that's the very short, quick story of Golden Arrow.
Excellent, Brian. Thank you. You did a great job outlining the prospectiveness there. San Pietro sounds super interesting. Just underline for us again, what's the proximity of San Pietro to the Capstone mines?
Oh, Capstone borders right on the eastern boundary, and then so that's the Santo Domingo mine, and then 33 kilometers away, as a crow flies, that's where Manto Verde is, and so we're right in between the two. So it's a good place to be. Excellent. And what are we looking at in terms of news flow around the drilling program there? How do you expect that to start cascading out? Well, it's going to be a while before we start drilling. I don't want to mislead anybody, but we've got we're learning more stuff as we get on the project. We've got a lot of the area has not even been mapped yet, and trenching, and we're bringing in new data from other people's properties. So we really want to build up that database and make sure that when it does come to drill those holes, they're in the right spot. And again, one of the purposes of that whole drill program would just be to calculate the resources in the Rincones area. Okay, checking in with executives around inflation. We had Matt Manson on earlier. I mean, he's developing a mine, so a little bit more of an issue there. But even on exploration, you're down in South America. What are you seeing in inflation there on exploration costs? Is it material? Are you guys able to manage it? We're able to manage it. So far, I haven't seen it being a big deal. But one thing, last time when I was on your call here, Tony, the question was asked about the nationalization of the mines in Chile. There was a vote on the weekend, and that whole idea of nationalizing the copper lithium mines has all been voted down. So that's one of those hurdles. Not really inflation, but one of the things that was somewhat of a stumbling block going forward. Yeah, I wanted to get to that as well. That was very good news from a mining investment point of view. I'm sure everyone there breathed a sigh of relief. So great stuff. All right, Brian, we're up against the clock. We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining again. We enjoy when you pay us a visit. We look forward to following the story and continue to check in on you in the future. My pleasure. Thanks, Tony. Excellent. Thanks, Brian.